Yo, check this out. I received this in the mail, right? Hello, black man. And I'm so excited about it. This is a journal to help black men articulate their feelings, express their feelings. Hell, just acknowledge that we have them in a safe and honest way. And hopefully, it will translate into other parts of your life. I get it. As a black man, a lot of us weren't encouraged or taught to talk about our feelings. As a kid, when you fail and hurt yourself, your parents told you to get up. You're a big boy. Big boys don't cry. That right there is a hard lesson to unlearn, and it's very hurtful. Because when we become older, we don't know how to express ourselves. We don't know how to talk about our feelings. We don't know how to have a conversation without lashing out or using profanity or getting upset and becoming violent, because we weren't taught. But this, man, is essential, not just to each one of us becoming a better person, but a society of men being able to express themselves is priceless. So if you want to become the best version of you that you can do, check out helloblackman.com. Grab the journal, actually journal in it, be honest, be open, and be accessible to your feelings and embrace them.
Hey, that was my good friend Tahir Moore telling you guys, as black men, be more accessible to your feelings. Be more accessible to those people who are around you, who are trying to support you, because some of y'all be running people off because y'all don't know how to express yourselves. Not emotionally intelligent. That's what one of my good friends would say. However, y'all are going to enjoy tonight's show. I have some of the most amazing men in America. I can say that with a full confidence because I really feel this way. I watch these guys Monday after Monday as they talk about love, sex, relationships, Madonna whore complex, whatever that is. I thought Madonna and whore was equivalent to one another, but apparently they're not. It's two different things, but it is what it is. I have really come to love and enjoy these guys, so you all will get to know more about them tonight. I'm not going to stress them out too much. I have my very own nicknames for them, and as I introduce them, I'm going to call them by their nickname. So guys, I know y'all in the background watching. I'm going to introduce y'all one by one, and as you come on, I want you to tell the people who you are, what you have to offer, what your sign is, because for some people that's important. Me, not so much. But in your relationship status, because I got a lot of single women on my timeline. I'm just saying, they want to know who available, who not available. And if you're not, you better tell them now, because they might be in your inbox. All right. Without further ado, I want to introduce my first guest of tonight. I call him Jiggy Jones. What's up? Unmute your mic, Derek. Unmute your mic.
Hey, wait, what? Wait, what? Right,
So,
call me what?
Jiggy Jones.
I'm not even gonna ask.
Okay, because I was going to tell you. I was going to get you the backstory.
Please enlighten me.
So, Get Jiggy With It by Will Smith. That's one of my favorite songs. And you remind me of a Christian style rapper, you know, like get jiggy with it. Nah, 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 nah.
I thought we were friends. You obviously we gonna have to talk more because that don't. Anyway, hello everybody. I'm glad to be here. A Christian. What did you call a Christian? What
rapper?
All right, you need to watch more of my content. So look,
you don't be cussing.
I love the Lord though.
Amen. See, did I not pin that? See, you trying to act like you know who you are. Just embrace it. Jiggy Jones, tell them all about you.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm glad to be here. My name is Derek Jones, and I am I'm a certified life and relationship coach, and I'm also the host of the Relationship Gumbo podcast that broadcasts every Wednesday night live at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I just enjoy helping people look into the little nooks and crannies of their relationships or their dating or breaking up or, basically anything they have to do where you make horrible decisions. I try to unlock the little chambers and try to get you where you need to be. My sign is Sagittarius, December 20th coming around the corner. My relationship status, married.
Yep. All right.
I think I got all the questions answered.
You did. And y'all just know Derek is not available. Okay. So we're moving right along. My next guest, I absolutely adore him. He is, past Army, military, something. I hadn't really looked, but I did binge today. I call him Silent Singletary. No. He only talks when he needs to. No.
Okay. All right.
He speaks when spoken to.
There you go.
I know.
I fit in where I get in where I can fit in. That's what I do.
Indeed, you do.
All right. Yeah, I'm a 22-year Air Force veteran, so I'm still currently serving. I have not yet retired. I'm also the host of the Help Myself podcast. I am the proud single father of my autism hero, John Michael Singletary Jr., aka LJ, and I am a Sagittarius. And if you didn't catch single father, yes, my relationship status is single.
Awesome. When is your birthday? Derek told us the 20th. Happy birthday, Derek.
Mine is the 17th.
The 17th. Cool beans. The next, and I'm going to skip the guy who's on my thing next because I like to do things in alphabetical order. So next, I'm going to go with Mr. Ego, Mr. Messy Massey. Hey, Messy Massey!
I have never been so terrified being introduced.
I'm a Christian rapper, okay?
I think I did better than you. I don't know.
The Ego, welcome aboard. Yeah. Tell the people who you are. How
Thank you. Well, I'm traveling right now for my
see the hotel area.
Yeah, I'm in a hotel room for my 9 to 5, so I apologize for the
it's okay
for the poor coloring and everything. Yeah, my name is Tony Massey. You can find me at Tony Massey Cooks, Tony Massey Speaks, and then my newest venture, Tony Massey Shoots. So I'm an author, a poet, a speaker, a very amateur chef, and even more amateur photographer. Just trying to experience as much life as I can in this season of my life. So I'm a Virgo. And although I don't believe so much in astrology, I'm a Virgo. I'm very much.
Are you an August Virgo?
I'm a September Virgo. I'm an authentic in the middle Virgo. September the 7th is my birthday. So
when I heard you say that the other night, I was like, "There's no way he's a Virgo."
Oh yeah. I'm sensitive. I'm overspoken. It takes me a while to forgive, but once I do, I do. So I fit the Virgo creed.
Okay.
So yeah. And relationship status, very happily married.
Very happily married. I love to hear that. That is what I love to hear. And last but most certainly not least, he over there shaking in his boots. I can see him. I call him Witty Watts. Welcome aboard, Witty Watts. How are you?
Wow, Witty Watts. I'll take it. I'll take it, sis. Coming from you, I'll take it. I am doing wonderful. I'm glad I could drive through traffic and get here on time.
Behind the Wheel Watts. That should have been your name.
Yeah, that should have been the name, Behind the Wheel Watts. So I'm Tony Watts. I am the creator of Triumphant Media Group that falls under Triumphant TV, where I do a podcast about life. We will be putting some new content out very shortly. I'm also a host with these gentlemen for the Real Shop Talk. We're just missing our buddy, Rick the Slickster. Mr. Energy to the team. He's the Energizer Bunny for us. Son, we love you. We miss you. We'll talk to you soon. I'm just here. Like Tony said, I'm scared to death right now. When Derek sent the little message, she said, "Bring notepads." I was like, "Nope, I'm not going."
So listen, I did pull my hair up because I know you guys like to fight, and I'm Black Girl Magic. I will take my earrings off because I don't have time for the drama, okay? And I'm from the South. We fight, okay? So let's just get this thing popping. Let's get started. I do want to make this a more relaxed show for you guys because I have binge watched Shop Talk today, and you guys get so emotional sometimes. You get so in your feelings. So I want tonight to be more fun, more relaxed. I want to get to know you guys. I want to get to know more about you and who you are. look, troublemakers. Look, I already laughing. So, but for real though, so there are a couple of quotes that I want to just point out from Messy Massey, because I literally was watching today and I was so tickled because this was one of the comments that he made. He says, and this was in relationship to women being successful and women saying that because of their success, they cannot find a man. Messy Massey said, it is not your success that is intimidating. It is you. You are rude and not relationship material. My chair, I was like, well, tell them what it really is then. So ladies, go ahead and scratch it off your list. It ain't because you got degrees. It's not because you got houses and cars. It's because you're rude and people don't want to be bothered with you. All right. So that is one of the quotes. Everybody else, I'm going to leave y'all alone. I'm going to just keep, because we're Virgos. So we're here. I'm going to just mess with him. However, I do want to ask y'all, okay, first and foremost, before we get started, on your notepads, if you brought them, if you have them, Massey, you should have one in the hotel drawer somewhere. I want y'all to write down these 3 things. All right, cool beans. 3 very simple things: financial stability, mental health and wellness, and physical fitness. Those are the 3 things I want you to write down. And I want you to rank those 3 things as most important and least important. 1 being the most important to you, 3 being important but not as important as number 1. And we're going to come back to that later in the show. As I said, first and foremost, we're going to get to know you guys. We're going to get to know more about you. I'm going to ask you some questions from my inbox. People who want.
Can you repeat those?
Yeah, absolutely. Financial stability, mental health and wellness, and physical fitness. And those are the pillars of the company. So that's why I really wanted to kind of point those out, and I wanted y'all to write them down and rank them for me. And like I said, we'll talk about those later in the show. So first few things I want to know, very laid back, very comfortable. Who is your favorite comedian? And we can start like the screen goes. It goes Derek, John, T. Watts, T. Massey. And we can do it in that order. If somebody want to talk about their favorite comedian first, then they can do that. Derek, who you got?
Wow, wow. We've been on this planet so long. I got a few. I got some old ones and some new ones.
Tell us
favorite though. The one that just I would probably say Chris Rock. I like his brain.
Cool. Okay. Anybody that want to go next? It doesn't have to go in order.
I'm gonna go in order too, though, because you got to let Witty Watts and what you call him?
Messy Massey.
Dave Chappelle is my favorite.
Oh God, he is. Who you got, Watts?
Dave Chappelle, absolutely. Right now, he's ahead of the game. He really took off. Like he corners the market right now because he's so intelligent in what his delivery is and what he's saying.
Is there a favorite skit you have of his?
Absolutely favorite skit I have of his. Absolutely favorite skit. You want me to tell you?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so he does a skit where he says, he said he's in a club and he says, ladies, when you go to the club, you know, you wear a certain outfit, right? And you go up to talk to her. She goes, I'm not a whore. And he goes, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You can wear anything you want. You can do anything you like. You're absolutely right, because he supports everybody. So he goes, but don't get mad if he said, what happens when I go out and I just decide I'm going to wear a cop's uniform? I'm just walking down the block and somebody gets robbed and a woman runs up to me, officer, I need you. Get away from me. I'm not a cop. So
that is such a typical story for you.
Yeah,
and I have so many reasons why.
It's hilarious.
We're gonna move on to Massey. Who is your favorite comedian?
I've always been a fan of Chris Rock, and it's because the comedy is so cerebral. Number one, it's thought provoking, but you also have to think. You know what I mean? It doesn't just provoke thought; you have to think in order to get the comedy. And once you do, it really hits home. It's really it becomes really personal. That's why he's my favorite.
Do you have a favorite skit?
Oh yes, black people versus the N words. I don't know how what the rules are on your show, but we
are a freedom to speak freely type show, so you can say what you.
So I just love the juxtaposition between, or just the how we look at the types of people out there, and how people who act a certain way despite their race, it's their actions that really make them separate. So same thing, he does the same thing kind of with white people and poor white people, eat mayonnaise sandwiches or whatever the case may be. So there's just this idea that we shouldn't all be lumped into one thing just because we look alike. There are people who really just don't care. They just don't have a standard. And the way he did that to me was just hilarious. So that's always going to be one of my favorite skits.
Are you a fan of Everybody Hates Chris as well?
I am, because I grew up like that. And I love that show because I like anything that allows people to see, even with movies, I love when you provide a view of the world through a singular character, right? So there are the movies that you go and you watch people do stuff in the movie. So you're literally just a person watching people perform on the screen. But then there are movies like that movie where you get to see the world through that character's eyes, and see how they navigate life based on their situation, and you can personalize it. And that's why, to me, some TV series and some movies feel so personal, because it's like, okay, I can understand that. I get that. That makes sense to me. So yeah, I love that show too.
Do you also love that show, Derek, because Chris Rock was your favorite?
I do like the show, but I wasn't a huge consumer of every single episode, but I do like the show. Gotcha. I do like the show.
Gotcha. Okay, so this next question is really laid back again. It is, what is your theme song? And this comes from an episode of Family Guy. I'm not sure who watches Family Guy, but there was a time where every time Peter walked down the street, there was a song playing in the background. So if you had to choose a theme song for every time you walked in a room, what would that theme song be?
You're going to have to come back to me.
John, you got a theme song? You on mute?
Yeah, no, I know I'm on mute. I got to keep it on mute for the DJ in the background.
That's all good.
Right now, what I'm feeling is my theme song. And I mean, this is something that changes because I love music. But right now, Me by Jadakiss.
Okay. I'm going to have to check that out. I don't even know if I know that song. Why?
I got it now.
Oh, what? Back to Derek. What you got, Derek?
I'm the Magnificent by Rick Ross.
Okay, Rick Ross. Okay.
Well, you have to move over to Tony Massey because I can't even think of anything.
Okay. All right. We'll come back to you, Watts. With it.
I'm going to say Freddie's Dead, Curtis Mayfield. Not because of the lyrics, but just if you know the song, just because of the there. I feel like when I approach life, I do it with that kind of I'm
ready. I got you. What? You still thinking? We'll come back to you later in the show if we had to.
All right, cool. Let's do that because there's too many songs running through my head.
All right, good deal. Okay, so Massey, I have a question for you, and I'm doing first and foremost, hot topics in the media. As a cook, how have you personally felt about the ongoing debate about boys with toy kitchens and dolls?
I am so glad you asked me that question. This question has actually existed for a long time. And I remember I was in the military still, and I was listening to radio in San Diego. And the question came up because it was Christmas time, and the aunt of a child wanted to buy the child a cooking kitchen, right? And there was a little boy. And the parents were adamantly opposed to them buying this little boy a kitchen set because it was a quote unquote girl's toy, right? And I remember then feeling like, okay, the kitchen is not, I grew up in a matriarchal family. My grandmother had, 5 kids, 1 boy, 4 girls, including my mother. So I have a lot of aunts, and the kitchen has always been a place where we congregate while the meal is being prepared. You talk and whatever. But in my house, the few men that were there never really went into the kitchen. We were all in the backyard around the barbecue pit. That's kind of where the men, did their thing. And to this day, I get kind of, ribbing and joking from my uncles and from the men in my family, because I'd rather be in the kitchen, because that's where I feel more comfortable. And for me, the barbecue pit, once you put the meat on, it ain't really nothing to do but stand there and look at it and drink. You know what I mean? But with the kitchen, I'm able to be artistic and expressive and try new things and all this other stuff. And so I've always felt it was a weird stereotype about women being in the kitchen, especially if you look at the fact that most of the most successful and highest paid chefs are men. You got your Gordon Ramsays and all this other stuff. And so the idea that my son should not, play in a kitchen, when that could be like giving him a football and him one day becoming a great football player, giving him a kitchen set could be the catalyst for him to one day being a world famous chef, a Michelin star rated chef. So I think it's one of those things where the patriarchy still shows itself. And this is where I will never get on board with this idea that, women are taking over and all this other stuff, or that masculinity is being attacked. I can't get on board with that, because we still are not comfortable letting our sons in the kitchen until they've proven themselves to be good cooks. And by that time, you know what I mean? We didn't made fun of them, you know what I mean? Just for wanting to be in the kitchen. So, that's a great question. I believe that the kitchen is unisex. And I think that, if you want to get your kids something, and you want to buy, if someone bought me an apron, I think I would just be elated. That's a great gift for me. You know what I mean? There are no rules when it comes to the kitchen. I'll land there.
I forgot I was also dealing with pilots. Thank you for landing your plane there. When they say I'll land there, ladies and gentlemen, that means that they're concluding their point, just for those of us in the South who may not understand what is going on when they land their plane. Does anyone else have anything to put or say on the topic of the kitchen and little boys playing with kitchen sets? Anybody?
Like, we keep getting told this is a safe place, only...
I just was explaining. I'm from Mississippi. I got to tell the people.
Now get your ass up.
I got to tell the folks what's happening up in here. Nobody else had anything to say about the kitchen. As much as Derek, did you have something?
Well, I'll say this real quick about that. And the first thing I do want to say, audience, the loving audience of Hello Black Man Journals, Hello Black Man Podcast. This woman that's hosting the show, she said to me before the show that she was petrified of hosting the show. Can y'all tell? Cause she going in.
I'm so scared. My heart is racing. My legs are sweating. I want a fan, but I don't want nobody to see it.
So on this topic, I feel like I feel exactly how Tony Massey feels about it. And when we go and look at even just the cable networks, the Food Network and the Cooking Channel, and so many men are making millions of dollars and having successes as chefs, as just show hosts and things like that. So I think when we talk about the patriarchy and trying to make everybody fit, what rings true to me, maybe not necessarily all the way to this, but we're in a situation now where we're not under, like, we don't necessarily have to be under our parents' thumb and our parents forcing us into, because I always talk about how I was pushed in the direction career-wise and all these other kind of things. And the same thing happens with gender. And I don't believe we're not in that right now. Like, we should allow our kids to be expressive. We should allow our kids to chase their dreams. A lot of us didn't have that opportunity. We had to do what our parents told us to do. And I think as we grow as a nation, as we grow as far as like accepting different types of things for people, I think it'll get better. But right now, this is the changing of the guard. It's still some remnants left. So we're kind of, dealing with that now. Like, if a dude told me he wasn't going to let his son have, just spray paint the thing black and gray and just call it a day, man. Like, I don't, and these kids be like 5. Let the little man cook him some eggs and bacon on the thing, and I don't. Yeah, so I'm landing my plane.
All right.
Well, just to close that out, I think we're all in agreement on this topic because studies have shown that boys, girls who decide to play with gender toys stay in their gender anyway when they grow up. So us forcing a narrative that we're afraid of on them, studies have proven that completely wrong. They want to play what they want to play with. They are children. Let children grow up. Stop trying to force them to be something that, we want them to be because we have certain mindsets and traumas behind certain things. So I guess the team is in agreement with this one.
Silent Singletary, do you have something you want to add or say?
No, I have no desire to beat this dead horse anymore.
And I'm going to say that I don't think it's a dead horse. And the reason why I don't think it is because all of you men are from a generation much like the generation I come from. So as open as we are today about what we allow our children to play with, there are mental mindsets that say, hey, these are things that I don't want to put my child to do because this may do this may do that. I agree. Kitchen sets are not the standard as far as judging what a child may or may not do when they're grown. But now we're in a place where they're saying they're advertising dolls to our sons. They're advertising other things to our sons that we may, from our generation, not view as things that our sons should play with. And don't sit here and tell me that y'all are like, oh yeah, boys can play with anything and we're okay with it. What is a red flag for you as far as gender toys that you would not allow your son or daughter to play with? If there's not any, that's cool. I'm fine with it. But there are certain careers that we have in the past felt like men shouldn't be this or men shouldn't be that. For example, hairdressers. How do you feel about buying a doll for your son to do a doll's hair? Are you okay with that or not?
I'll jump in. I mean, I have a son, and he's a school teacher. I never chastised him for playing with quote unquote girls. I don't believe in that because, again, I don't think you have to be. My barber, the best barber I ever had out of Houston was a woman, and I grew up under the auspices that you don't let women, because women weren't allowed in the barbershop when I was coming up, you know what I mean? And so the idea that a woman cuts your hair is very taboo until I got my hair cut by a woman and she killed it. I mean, she made me look like $1 million. And so if a woman can be a barber, then I don't understand why a man can't do hair. You know what I mean? Now, is it going to be a female dominated arena? Yeah, it definitely will be. And of course, there's going to be preconceived notions and ideas that come with that, or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. I cannot subscribe to the idea that my son is limited in the things that he is able to do based on gender roles. I've seen when my son was little, he had his little best friend was Brooke, and Brooke played with dolls, and we walked in and Jordan's playing with the doll, and he would kill me if I hope he don't see this, but he's playing with the doll with Brooke, and I didn't go, put that doll down, boy. What are you doing? You know what I mean? His masculinity was not in jeopardy, in my opinion, just because he had a doll and he was playing with it. And here's the thing that I think, and I'll land here. Here's the thing that I think is crazy. we don't want our sons playing with dolls or being nurturing to dolls or you know, learning how to take care, because essentially playing with a doll is acting, you know, is mimicking the idea of taking care of a baby. And then when our sons have babies, then all of a sudden they're supposed to have this life skill that they were never allowed to practice. They were never allowed to, you know, to try out. And we wonder why they're all awkward and they don't know what to do. It's because their mother, the child's mother, has had 25 years of playing with dolls. That's why she's so good at it, you know, whereas he, you know, was in the backyard throwing his He-Man and G.I. Joes across the fence. And we wonder why he's not a good father, because he hasn't developed that life skill. He wasn't given a chance to even pretend to develop that life skill. So I never put those limitations on my kid.
I love it.
And you ain't gonna be calling me Silent Singletary all night.
You gotta come through with the conversation then, because if not,
no, I got opinions. Now,
okay, let's go.
Dead horse, beating the dead horse. I think we all agreed on the kitchen set. But I mean, I think you raise a valid question. But if masculinity is defined by the toy, because I mean, think about it. The supersized G.I. Joe is a doll.
It's a doll.
It's a doll. And so if we're raising our kids and defining their masculinity by toys, and again, just like Messy said, we talking about functional toys.
That is not a thing, okay? That is not a thing. Let's not normalize Messy. Y'all take me back to my childhood.
I got y'all.
You take me back to my childhood. I'm triggered right now.
No, but I mean, these are functional toys. I think it's imperative of the parents to set those boundaries. And what the best way for a child to see masculinity and femininity is to see it exemplified through his or her parents and all of that, not toys. So that's not where, you know, for me.
I love that answer, John. That is phenomenal, and that's correct. That's where they need to see it at. Go ahead, Derek.
And I want to add one more point, because I know you got a thing of questions for us. When I remember now, it kind of triggered a memory for me. I remember when I was probably maybe second, third, fourth grade, and I had cousins, 2 female cousins that lived probably 15, 20 minutes away. And when we would go over their house, their toys was there. So we played with them. It wasn't never really anything in my head as a little boy to think, oh, these are girls' toys. We was just playing. So it's the parents who then try to force that because I had a father that modeled what a man is. I know everybody may not have that, but if you have someone modeling the behavior for you, you get to make your own choices at a certain point, and maybe I'll choose to go that way. Some people don't, but I'm not like I've told my daughter many times. I don't care what you choose to be, just respect me and be a productive citizen, and we can worry about the rest of that stuff later. I'm not there. I know that, you know, our generation is kind of coming off of the generation before us that had more of a hard line, and the generations after us are going to be a lot more kind of just do what you want. But we gotta start moving in a direction where we can let these kids be expressive and be creative. And you just I feel like the possibilities are endless now. When you take that veil off, now we're talking about inventors and all these kind of things that we were like, no, you have to be this, go to this school, you know, you have to be this profession or you're not going to be successful. You take that off and we have all this technology, man. Do it that you want to be a rabbit, go be a rabbit. I don't give go handle your business, man, and do what you got to do. So I'm gonna land there.
Watts, I thought you had something you wanted to say. Am I incorrect? Okay, I'm gonna play a quick commercial with the 30-minute mark, and I will be right back.
Hello, Black man. This guided journal is being made available to build character, confidence, and define the inner person.
It has been deemed clear that our culture and our past has hindered Black men from being open and vulnerable. Hello, black man.
Hello, black man.
All right, guys, I'm going to switch gears just for a second. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for the applause. And yep, well, we're gonna get there. I have some female friends that saw y'all's flyer and they asked me some questions because they see that y'all are all about giving relationship advice. So they had some questions that they wanted to ask. So the first question on my list from the viewers is, what or when would you advise a man or woman to leave a relationship?
I would. When should I think when you decide or believe that you are that there's no that this relationship bears no fruit, then and that there's nothing beyond the unhappiness or the what you're getting in that moment. I think doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. I will say, I think sometimes we fantasize about what a relationship actually is, and people leave relationships prematurely because they have an expectation that, to me, isn't real. And I think that, you know, we're all victims of social media and hashtag goals and all this other stuff. And we have these unrealistic expectations that we put on relationships. And so because we're not happy, then, you know, we leave. But if there's consistency, our needs are being met, there's the desire for, you know, atonement. There's, you know, people who are recognizing that, you know, yes, I messed up and I want to make it better. There's a genuine love. There's a genuine respect. And there's no physical or mental abuse, no sexual abuse, no spiritual abuse. Then, you know, you stick it out. You make it work, and you ride the natural ebb and flow of a relationship. But if you're being abused, or if that person, you know, they can't say I'm sorry, they're emotionally immature, they're disrespectful, they're cheating on you, things of that nature, and your unhappiness is not a condition of the day, but it is a condition of the relationship itself. You're literally, if you ever came home, realized they're not home, and went, "Oh Lord, thank you, Jesus," it's time to go. You know what I mean? There's no, you know, I think that, you know, we talked about being in different generations. You know, we, especially Black people, I will say this: we have been put under this idea that we gotta stay no matter what. They're under the worst conditions, and sometimes we celebrate longevity, but we don't take into consideration what was happening during that time. It's like we'll celebrate a 25-year marriage. Man, they've been married 25 years. That's wonderful. But for 25 years, it's been hell. That's nothing to celebrate, you know. And we say, well, why aren't these relationships like the ones that, you know, like our grandparents? Because they didn't have options. You know, if a woman left a man in the 60s or in the 50s, then she could literally starve because there weren't opportunities for women to go out and just take care of themselves in the way that they can now. And so I know this is why we have to land planes, because otherwise we'll just fly all over the place. I think that the quick answer is if there is a consistent, where there's no ebb and flow, it's consistently negative. If you're constantly being apologized to for the same thing over and over again, and you're being disrespected, you're being cheated on, you're being abused, it's not going to get better. Leave.
Yeah, I think what he said. I agree with everything he said. It's. I always pause because there's so many layers to these things. And a single version of me might have had a different answer than the married version of me. Because Tony's answer to me struck very much like how a married person who's trying to stick it out and move through things would answer it. There are points where if both people agree to trying to, bring in new tools, bring in new information. They may have to talk to a third party, and maybe some of those things that you thought were going to break you up, you may be able to reconcile in the middle. Most of the time when I hear single people talk, they be like, if he eat his eggs wrong, I'm out. So it's nuanced. It's a case by case, situation. But when you're living a life of torment, and y'all know what that means, and you still wake up every day just going through the motions, even if you don't, and I'm not an advocate for taking these little breaks and coming back. I'm not an advocate for that, but you may have to do some kind of you got to separate yourself from that, because a damaged version of you doesn't even help a relationship, even if you eventually try to reconcile. Because a lot of us have been there where you're just functioning. You're basically on fumes every day, and you're complacent. I'm all right. I'm good. I'm all right. I'm good. And it's torment. You don't even want to be in your house. It's time for you to go do something different. Especially and I'm an advocate for reciprocal relationships. You're not getting anything back. You're doing all the work. We're gonna have a conversation. You shut me down. There's gonna be a whole nother conversation after that. We gotta figure this out or not. So I'm gonna just leave it there. But the big umbrella is people always want you to give them a timeline. How long should we wait until we get married? How long should we wait until we do? That's on you. I can't give you that answer because that answer may not work for you. That's really what it is. What you really have to look at is, how are you showing up every day? And is that relationship making you feel like a better person? Are you growing? Those type of things. If the answer is no, you might be in the wrong place. So I'm gonna land there.
Like normal, both of the gentlemen are absolutely correct in their assessment. If you find yourself complaining to your man or your girlfriend all the time about your mate, you need to do some real self-reflecting on what you're doing, because there should be a celebration when you talk about the person that you care about. Like Derek said, if you're just dating, you need to figure it out. I think the grounding thing is there needs to be a high level of communication. So if you are feeling uncomfortable, that you can say, hey, lately you're not treating me the way you used to. There's something wrong. There's a disconnect. And if you can't get those answers, like Derek said, you should seek a third party. If the person does not want to seek a third party, you have a hard choice to make. And it's a choice to say whether I'm going to be dissatisfied for the next 50 years, or I'm going to make a decision and move on and find my blessing somewhere else. Just a shameless plug. If you go to Relationship Gumbo and you look up Ghost in the House, that'll answer a lot of questions for you.
I'm actually going to play that. I'm going to play that because I'm not going to be on the show tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I'm going to let that play live. It's going to come live, but it's a pre-recorded. I'm going to do that show because everybody keeps talking about it.
Ain't no shame in that plug, man. No, I say, man, if you're in a relationship and y'all not clapping cheeks no more, man, kill that thing, man, immediately. No. You've got to understand the levels of your relationship. If you're in a commitment and, marriage and things like that, obviously you're anchored in a different way than you are if it's I won't call it casual, but if you're boyfriend and girlfriend, or Jamie Jenkins told me to get out. But nah, man. I think though, one of the things we have to realize though, if it's not a marriage, there's a lot of things in life that we don't get the opportunity to choose. And a relationship is one of those things. And so when you're seeing signs of non-compatibility, I really think that we need to be honest with ourselves. I remember being in a relationship and I was like, hey, I'm ready to break up. And she was like, we should get relationship counseling. And I'm like, for what? You can't counsel me into wanting to be with you. I'm out, So I think, you just need to understand the levels of it. I definitely wouldn't advocate if it was a serious relationship, just because you can't make it long term if you can't deal with troubles and problems. But if you've been together and it's not working and you're not compatible, don't keep bumping your head against the wall. Go out and find you somebody that is more compatible, can make you happy.
Funny. I think he was saying if you're not clapping cheeks, then you got to get out. I think that's what he was saying. That's funny. So, speaking of clapping cheeks, it's also a question that I have here from the viewers. But
Please direct that one to John first.
we're gonna let's see. Hold on, let me get this one first. This one says, what's something you wish women knew that was a turnoff? Not looks in particular, but communication wise. Not the Notebook, Derek. Anybody who wants to go first can go.
Are you saying wish that women knew that what they're doing is a turnoff, or what their action is a turnoff?
Yes. What do you wish a woman knew was a turnoff to you, or men in general? Something that you think is a turnoff to men. So,
and I think we are all on one accord on the show when we talk about men being monolithic, and these universal rules that don't necessarily apply universally, right? But I'll speak for myself. I wish, and before I met my wife, I was actively dating. I wish more women that I dated knew that coming into a new, encounter, whether it be I match with you on a dating site, or I found you, at a coffee shop, and I approached you or whatever. I wish more women knew that, it's okay to not be interested, and it's okay to just say, thank you, but no thank you, right? The idea that you would entertain me knowing that you don't like me because you don't want to reject me. And I'm not talking about, and I get it. It's some fellas out there, they don't take rejection well, to the point where it's kind of scary. I get that. But once you realize that I'm not that kind of person, you're not being kind by continuing to entertain me, knowing that I'm not your type. It's better for you to just say, hey, you know what? You're cool. I really dig you. But don't try to turn a friendship into something that, I'm not on that. That's not where my head is at. That's not why I approached you. I don't want to be your friend. I want to be, I'm trying to engage you in a different way. But thinking that you're sticking around so that we can build a friendship, and then one day you can come to me and say, hey, I think we're better off as friends. I think we're better off as not knowing each other at all, because you just destroyed my ego. And I can't believe you took me this far trying to build a friendship, knowing that that's not what I wanted. So that's what I think I wish more women understood. And again, it's nuanced, because I get it. There are some men out there. I've never been the type of man where if a woman says no, I go on the attack. I don't think that highly of myself, where I feel like it's me or death. You know what I mean? And so once you realize that's who I am, just say, hey, you're not my type, and let me keep pushing.
I'm going now. I'm going to try to keep this list down to a minimum. Not joking. So this is Derek's list. This is a list of a lot of men, but I'm going to say first and foremost, turn off. Number one would be your tone and delivery. That does not get us to move. It makes us want to be away from you. It makes us want to fight you, but we can't, so we hold it in. I do not want you to talk to me like you're my mama. It's going to be a problem. We don't like that. At the end of the day, even if I'm wrong, I'm still a grown man. And I need for that to be honored. You could be mad at me, but all that yelling, the mama thing kicks in. And I'm not trying to be in a relationship with my mama. So that's number one. That's a big one. I also think another thing that turns a lot of men off is being almost kind of like being forced into your expectation of what you think your man should be. That's a turnoff. Stop trying to make me be something you want me to be, and accept me for who I am, because I'm coming to you flawed. I'm coming to you with whatever I come with. Learn about those things and stop trying to make me be that thing that you dreamt about, because I'm not that dude. I have a different name. I might not look like the dude you dreamt about. So you might want to go ahead and take it for face value, because all of that poking and prodding and pushing and molding and, hey, let me go ahead and you just met me. You trying to buy my clothes and trying to tell me how to, this the kind of belt I want you to wear. Hold on, man. We can get there. Maybe I could tweak some things, but you playing Build-A-Bear right now. Turn off. Turn off. Especially when you start doing it early. I
love that, man. This girl broke up with me because I don't change the oil in my car, and actually told me my daddy changed the oil in his car. A real man changed the oil in the car. Your daddy drives a 1976 Deuce and a Quarter. I drive a luxury vehicle under warranty.
Where are you from?
I'm just saying. I drive your daddy drives a damn 78 Broham. I have a warranty that came with free maintenance.
Yeah,
I've been down that road too. And here's another thing about the changing of the guard. The whole your man better know how to change an engine out and do the oil. I'm sorry, man. I can design websites. These hands don't have calluses on them. I'm sorry. That doesn't make me less of a man. That whole real man thing is a trigger for me. If you utter those words, we got a problem. I cannot. I'm letting my play there. I can do this all day.
Lady Derek is already married, so don't worry about his list of things. Let's move on to somebody who maybe we can relate to. What you got, Mr. Silent Singletary?
For me, it's so you know how a woman, she's been through some things, and I think this is a people thing, but you got a woman, she done been through some things, and then she come at you like, oh my God, I just didn't had so many bad situations. If this one don't work, I'm out the dating game. Like, don't do that. That's too much pressure on me. I don't deserve all that. I just came over here. I'm minding my own business. I might not like you that well, so don't put the whole totality of the dating game on my shoulders. I don't deserve that. I didn't earn that. I don't want it, but so that's one of those frustrating things. It's like, but then another one, I personally, I'm not gonna say this for men. We are not a monolith, but let's have fun sometime. I understand that you want to do the vetting and you want to the fact finding and all this other stuff, but if I can't have fun with you, I really can't see a long-term prospect with you. So, there's an interview part to this, but there's also, we're two human beings. I got a whole life, a job, responsibilities. I don't want to be on the clock when I'm off the clock. So.
Yeah, can I do like 5 seconds on that last thing he said? I'm triggered. You can get your questions out without having to do it with military precision. We're not gonna have fun when you like, so what's your credit score? Like, hold on, man. Calm down. We cannot finish my salmon, please.
Awesome. I go with Derek with the first one. Tone is a problem. Tone is absolutely a problem. If you're coming at us with your aggression and your newfound masculinity because you've been, like John said, you've been through the ringer with some bad guys that did some bad things to you, and you feel you need to put your chest out and show me how masculine you can be, not a good look. Also, your false sense of security or confidence, I can see right through you. You can only wear that little mask for about 35 to 40 seconds around me. I'm going to read it, and it's not cute. Be yourself. Come into this thing open and fresh. Like the team has already said, every human being is a different individual. Treat them as such. They have nothing to do with your past. You know what I mean? So if you doing your journey, if some things kind of look alike, you should check that out before you say, oh, he acts just like my ex. No, check it out. He might have did it on accident. He might have been playing. You know what I mean? It might be a one-off. So have the one thing I always say is have grace. If you can't have grace, keep it moving. I'll land my plane there.
All very awesome answers. You guys are on point tonight. Y'all must have studied. Who got the answer key? Somebody got the answer key. So the next question, we're going to go back to the clapping cheeks. One young lady said, if my mate is not it doesn't say sexually attractive. is not having sex with me, does that mean he does not love me? Talk, Tony Watts. Don't be shaking your head.
Well, not love you? Like, what's going on in his life? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on in his life? If he's, his job, is his job in jeopardy? Or, have you guys been arguing? Have you been, talking with that particular tone to him? Like, there's a lot of reasons why you automatically become undesirable. Like, if you are out of pocket all the time, and why you didn't take the garbage out, why you didn't do like Derek said, you become his mom. Why would he want to touch his mom? So figure out what that is. Like, it's not always not having sex with you doesn't mean I don't love you. So basically, asking that question, I would ask the question. So when a woman feels like she doesn't want to have sex with a man, right, because he hasn't touched all those emotional buttons, does that mean she doesn't love him? So I want to put it out there. I keep saying it. We are all emotional beings, and men are just as emotional as women. We just have been told we have to hide it.
Go ahead, Massey. Go ahead. You got it.
I heard this saying: men are when it comes to sex, women are like ovens and men are like microwaves, and I find that so offensive, because it speaks to this idea that we have to be at the ready at all time, and that if we don't want to have sex, then that means that there's something wrong. But if a woman doesn't want to have sex, then we have to do investigative journalism to figure out, well, what could be the problem that could have led to this issue of her not wanting to express herself. Well, I mean, you know what? I got some stuff going on too. Like Tony Watts said, I could be stressed about work. I could be stressed about, I'm 45, and I've entered into the season of my life where things are going to be the hardest for me, because my child is grown and he has, I have to address grown-up issues as it relates to my child. He's married now. He has his own career. So I'm transitioning my role as father from, being the father of the little boy that I brought into this world, and the man that now has different demands of me. My parents, their mortality is suddenly a thing for me. I have to think about the fact that my mother is getting up there in age, and she taking care of herself. This is where we start looking at career changes, the health wise, I've just personally, I've been in and out the hospital in the last 30 days, at least 2 or 3 times, so it's not that I'm not in love with you. It's that it's not the center of my universe like it was when I was 16 years old, when I have nothing else going on but sex. And maybe, I'm trying to create an emotional bond with you on something beyond just the physical. And if you're not meeting my needs in those other areas, if you're not being empathetic to the things that are happening to me, if you're not, turning me on, if you're not, looking at other parts of me as a way to express desire and love, then I'm not, you're not going to just flip a switch and say, bring it in here, let's go. No, hell no, seduce me, love me, damn it. And so I agree with Tony Watts 100%. At this point, at some point, we have to mature to a place where we don't allow sex to define love. Instead, we allow love to define sex. To me, sex is the physical manifestation of an emotional experience. That's what good sex is. And I've actually reached a point in my life where before I married my wife, I didn't have sex with everybody that wanted to have sex, because I realized that I was making an emotional deposit or physical deposit into a place that I was emotionally void. And that has consequences, So if you are dealing with someone whose sex is the only way to express themselves, then you're dealing with an emotionally immature person who probably has some issues beyond, just the surface. There may be something bigger or deeper there. I'll end there.
So I'm probably going to say some of the same stuff, but in a different way. For the person that asked the question, some women, have this belief that a man always wants to have sex, and if he doesn't want it, then he does not want you, the person. Follow me. So if he doesn't want you, the person, it's an indictment on you, the person, and your relationship. But there's so many layers and so many different things that can happen. And so what happens when you enter into a relationship and you're in the honeymoon phase and y'all are at it like jackrabbits, and it's amazing. He loves me. He wants me. He finds me attractive. There's something that happens, like if you're in a longer term relationship, there's something that happens in the middle. You graduate from the honeymoon stage, real life happens. Maybe you get married, maybe you start living together. There's these little things called arguments, disagreements, maybe a tone. Maybe y'all haven't figured out how to communicate effectively now that y'all are in this everyday thing. And if we don't discuss and communicate these things, we carry these things. When we carry these things, we carry them here. When we see you, you can look like a 55 out of 10. I am now relating you to all of that stuff that we went through, and I don't want it. Until that gets resolved, I may go through the motions because you just here, and I'm just like, okay, let's just get it done. But I'm not connecting like I was before because now we got all of this stuff that we haven't resolved. I'm looking at you different now. I don't see you as that sexy woman that I married. I'm seeing the woman that's yelling at me about the damn trash. I'm not trying to go there tonight. Sorry, babe, I'm tired. And that you guys then translate into, he's not attracted to me anymore. He doesn't want me. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with him? Is he seeing someone else? You don't remember you just yelled at me 3 hours ago? Like, so, and sometimes it could be like, we have to understand as Black men, there's all kind of medical stuff that happens that affects your libido. And you know, we don't go to the doctor. So we probably sitting on some things and we don't even know what's going on. And you won't even try to find out if that's it before you say, you don't want it because you don't want me. It ain't always that. It could be sometimes, but I think most of the time, somebody ain't going to be with you for 5 years and he just all over you. And then all of a sudden, he's just like, you know what? I think she ugly. That doesn't happen. So I'm going to lay it there.
Well, there's not a lot of nuance or much to add to that. I think they really covered it well in totality. So I'll just add this, piggybacking on what Tony Massey, I'm not going to call you that name. Piggybacking on what Tony Massey said, sex is a beautiful expression of love within the, within the boundaries of a relationship, but it shouldn't be the totality of a relationship. And that's why it's so important for friendship and all of that. We get concerned, is so-and-so sharing their body, but are they sharing their heart with you? Are they sharing their emotions with you? And as we get older, all of us are 40 plus, some are more than 40 plus. and life gets different, and it just ain't always about that. But if you look at all of the other important indicators, if you're taking time to get to know your partner and you look at all of the other vital indicators, a lot of times you can see that there's something else going on. Like when life is really hitting me, I don't want to be hitting you. No, I don't want to be clapping them cheeks.
Hilarious. That's funny. So I just want a simple head nod. You don't have to say anything at all. If you want to, you can. So you guys are very adamant about the fact that if a man is not having sex with his mate, that does not mean that he does not love her or that he is cheating. Are you guys the same when it comes to a woman not wanting to have sex? Do you try to get to know what's wrong? Okay. All right. I just wanted to know. Okay. So this is another hot topic, and then we're going to do a few questions from the journal, and I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your night. We're already an hour in, which is crazy. This time really goes fast when you're having fun. This question is in relation to, I don't know, does anybody know who Toby and Fat are? Shake your head. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Everybody knows who they is. So their relationship has been in the media. It has been scrutinized because of the fact that he is adamant in all of their interviews, all of anything that they do, that he did not want her. This is something that you guys have talked about here even tonight, about being an option and about not wanting to be an option. And a lot of people say, if I tell you more than once I don't want you, then you probably should move on. But he is very clear that he did not want her in the beginning. However, she aligned herself, she placed herself in his life where eventually he decided that he did want her. So my opinion on this is we're all options. And even if you're married, if you're in a relationship, no matter what your status is, you're an option. And I think so often we forget that we are options. There's always somebody who's cuter than us, who's finer than us, who makes more money than us, who can come into our significant other's life, who can take them away. If we are more conscious or conscientious about the fact that we are option, do you think we work harder to make sure our relationships are working? Or do we just kind of get comfortable and get so lax that we don't even realize anymore that we are options because we feel like, oh, I'm that guy, Tony Massey, or I'm that girl, Felicia Patrice, that we decide that there's nobody out there who can trump us. And how do you personally feel about the Toby and Fat story? So whoever wants to go first, jump in.
Okay. You
go. John, you go.
All right. Yeah, I want to get in first. Now, if you followed Get Twisted Sundays for any amount of time, he's been very open about this. Like, this isn't new. They're bringing this back up. But he talked about this years ago, like even before they got married, when they were doing the video about getting married, that he was talking about it at length. And it's not, oh my God, she wasn't my option or anything. So he was a football player. He got injured. And so now he's trying to figure out his new path, and he's going up to a New Dimensions Church in Houston, and he's trying to figure out what his new path is going to be. And Toby is like, yeah, I'm interested, but he was like, I'm not even on that right now. And she stayed in his life, and that kind of thing. And so I think sometimes them bringing it up now makes it sound a different way than what it really is. But to go to that question of options, you said it perfectly. You're always an option. I think it's important not to work on yourself for the purpose of being the number one option for somebody else, because you never know what might happen with them, but to continue to evolve as the best version of yourself. And that ought to be the thing that drives you, not let me tailor myself so that this woman or this man is attracted to me, because you do yourself and you do the person you're with a disservice if you're not evolving personally in an authentic way.
I agree with the notion that you're always an option, but I don't feel like you should always be auditioning. I think that once you get the role, then you need to transition to keeping the role and not proving that you deserve it. I don't expect my wife to continually try to audition for the role of my wife. I think that once she gets that role, once I say, yes, I do, then she needs to now transition, not to try to keep the role, but to expand the role and to really try to figure out, how can I make this my own? How can I customize it? How can I create the opportunity so that if he did choose to step out, or if he did start, looking at other options, what he'll find is no one is better suited for the role of wife to Anthony, to Tony Massey, than I am, right? And so to me, that's maximizing the potential of the role. And as far as the Toby and Fat thing is, I'm actually from Houston, so I know their story really well, and I'm a huge fan. My only scrutiny would be that at some point, it has to no longer be a talking point. And I agree, John. It's become a little salacious because they're using old interviews and things like that. But at some point, I think that, especially as a man, you have to be very aware of how the world views you especially if you've gone out of your way to create this idea that your wife and children are everything, man. I mean, he has and one of my favorite songs, Fire, he has a line that says, you know, if my wife and kids can't come, you know, I'm don't book me if my wife and kids can't come, or something like that. And so he's created this idea that this is the center of my universe. And so it doesn't reconcile when he's asked about, you know, well, what about at the beginning? Well, I didn't even want her back then. At some point, you got to tailor your message. You have to be your own PR person and realize that nothing is said in a vacuum, and everything is scrutinized and everything is taken apart. And so this is what I love about Jay-Z and Beyonce. They're so almost to the point where they're secretive. If they can be accused of being secretive, they just don't talk about their relationship publicly, because I think they understand that everything is scrutinized. Now, I'm not comparing Jay-Z to Toby, because obviously they're at two different levels, but Toby needs to understand that he's entering into a space where that transparency and that honesty and all that stuff, it's great, but it could be harmful, because everybody wants transparency and everyone honors honesty until they're ready to weaponize it. Then it becomes a problem, right? So you have to understand where you are in the world and what is safe to talk about and what just isn't, not because you're trying to hide the things from the world, but because the world can be very cruel, especially if you're perfect. We love to create heroes and then destroy them, systematically take them apart. So that would be my only critique and criticism of Toby, because I saw a video just recently that came up, and it was almost like he was just doubling down on this idea that, you know, I ain't want her. And that just didn't reconcile with the way he talks about her in his music and other interviews where he literally puts her, you know, he elevates her. Even the nickname Fat, you know what I mean? It was problematic, you know? And so that'd be my only thing.
Okay, two things I wanted to say right quick, Derek. One, yes, you said that these were old videos, but these are actually also new interviews that he's doing, where he is continuously carrying this narrative that he did not want her. Why is that such a problem that he did not want her? Every person that we encounter in our life, we want them initially. Like, can you say that every woman that you may have dated or wanted to be with, you wanted to be with them as soon as you saw them? You know, it's just like, life is not a fairy tale. And I think what makes their story so unique is it's not the fairy tale that we're all looking for. But yet right now, and what it transpired into is beyond a fairy tale. I think what they have now is so magical and so beautiful, it doesn't matter how they started. But go ahead, Tony Watts, what did you have to say?
I'm a little taken aback, actually, because I never really heard that part of their story. I think they have a genuine love for each other. That's a real beautiful relationship. So for me to hear that part of the story, it kind of makes me go, that's interesting. I'm with Tony Massey. If that's how you felt before, fine. If it's somebody brought it up in an interview, okay, fine. But to make it a talking point for now, I think that, like Tony Massey said, in all of his honesty, and we appreciate his honesty, the brother is dope. What happens is TMZ and all these other salacious magazines will spin that and make other stories up. They'll go dig into their past. They'll try to find someone who's trying to get a name, a female. Oh, they were dating at the same time, to dig and dig and dig until they can break them apart. Because what, and I'm gonna try to make this quick. What I prayed for him for the other day is he was saying, he was celebrating his family and his team, and he said we did it our way because people wanted us to do certain things. So when the industry starts hearing things like that, they go, okay, how can we break this up? How can we destroy this? Because everybody was fine with Jada and Will. We were fine with Jada and Will until we started digging and digging, and all of the messy started coming out. Now we're asking Will, why are you staying? Now we're telling Jada, you're a messy person. Like, no, they're the same people they always was, but now we have these little dirty nuggets on them. So now we paint them a certain way. So like Tony Massey said, I would wish he would refrain from that type of language at this point, because the story that they tell now is so beautiful and strong. And the younger people growing up, that's industry, thinking they have to follow these other industry people. They have to have a whole bunch of girlfriends and a whole bunch of this, that, and the other. They're a model standard, almost like Jay-Z and Beyonce. But I'd also like to really talk about real quick, ego versus option. Ego never tells you you're an option. So if ego never lets you realize that you're an option, you will operate in a way that will push your mate away from you and not even understand it. And so I thank you for that, because I've never thought of that before, that we are consistently, especially in this generation, an option. Because we have so many, I can just go on my Instagram and scan for 25 minutes and I'll see 50 girls who make me go, wow, well, she's pretty. So if we're not, and what John said was so perfect, is if you're not constantly working on yourself to improve you, you will get caught in this whole option thing, to realize that, no, I'm not an option. I'm not an option. I'm an option to you, and you will opt out of having a great person. So I'll end there.
I'll be brief. I know you have I know we're probably getting close to your cutoff time. So I'm gonna fly my little Cessna plane, and gentleman said a lot, so I don't really have a lot to add, but I will say this, just to piggyback also on what Tony Massey said. There's a point in your relationship, especially when you're married, where, and as a man, the woman has a responsibility too, but it's my responsibility to provide a covering over my marriage. And people, and even like, I'm a relationship coach, right? I talk about our marriage, but there's a lot of things that I will not talk about, because it is my job to protect and cover my marriage. I don't care who asks. You could say, oh, you talk about everything else. Yeah, but it's my responsibility to cover. And so that covering functions more, not for me to keep things in more than it is to keep you out, right? Stay the hell over there. We good over here. And whatever we decide to talk about, cool, but you don't get to determine what I share. That's what the problem is with this, is that when you throw up on them everything, they get to decide how to use it. Because we're in social media now. I don't have to even be him. I'm relationship gumbo. Somebody can come and be like, oh yeah, I heard that. Yeah, now I'm going to go in her inbox and tell her and do. No, you didn't hear that from me, and you never will. So I'm going to just land there.
And can I just say this too?
Yeah.
There's a dangerous precedence that's set when a man celebrates being chased by a woman and saying, I didn't want her, and then eventually saying, I did. The unintended message here is, ladies, even if he doesn't want you, stick around, because he may eventually change his mind. That is a horrible message, And there's a very unique situation that was that worked out between the two of them, but that is not how it works. If a man says, I don't want you, move on. And if he changes his mind and you're still interested, do what you do. But this idea that a constant pursuit of someone who does not want you is going to end favorably for you, that's not a thing. So I just wanted to throw that in there. That's the other reason I didn't like that messaging.
And I think that message is very scrutinized and very much translated to how people want to view it. Just like the Bible, there are 100 different religions based off one Bible. Okay. So that right there is perception in itself. But I believe that, the way that the story went is not that she constantly pursued him, but they were friends. So of course, if you're friends with somebody, you are in the same circle of people and you kind of are around all the time. She never said once that she wasn't dating other guys. She wasn't doing her own thing. And then, it's not not like she was just, oh, I want him, I'm going to be behind him. But I think that we have taken the story, or people have taken the story and made it like she was chasing him. And for that reason, we are where we are. But, that's their business. I'm going to leave it alone. Like Tabitha Brown say, let them do what they do. That's their business, baby. So now I'm going to choose each of you to pick a number between 1 and 52. And I'm going to ask you a question from the Hello Black Man Journal. And we'll wrap this thing up.
20.
Derek, number 20. Magic number 20. Why 20, Derek?
Because I just want to go ahead and, I don't want to waste your time. So I just picked an arbitrary number. No specific reason. Oh, wait. That's my birthday. Maybe that's why.
Maybe so. See, it's always a reason. People don't randomly choose numbers. Like these numbers.
That's what it is. We'll go with that. Yep,
for
that's
a reason. So number 20. This is a good question for you. What is an ideal marriage from your point of view? Describe what you think makes marriage work.
Wow.
That's number 20. I don't want you to think that I picked that randomly.
No. Okay, so read the second sentence again.
The question says, describe what you think makes marriage work.
Okay, so ideal. That is that's tough, because I when somebody says ideal, it almost made me think of perfect. And I don't live there, and none of us do. Ideal is just being able to have a marriage where you both can functionally be yourselves and still respect and honor the things that you said you were going to be there for without killing each other. Like we always have these things that bother us, but being in a place that's not a haunted house where you're carrying all of these conversations that's unresolved and all of these kind of things. If you can exist in a space where you're comfortable, where you feel at peace, where you're being honored, both man and woman, and you can function like that on a daily basis, no matter what the adversities are, you can always come back to that foundational center. That to me is an ideal space for me to live in, because that keeps my stress level down. That allows me to function in the house and do my part without having to go find somewhere else to go to find that peace. So the second question, what was the second one again? Describe what keeps it. Say it again.
What makes marriage work?
It's kind of coupling it together. It was kind of both in the same answer, but I think what makes it work is the biggest thing is non-judgmental, open communication, that you can just kind of, that the adversity is going to come, but just having the ability to not hurt each other through it all. Because once you start hurting and carrying that resentment, then it could go a place that neither one of you wanted to go, and you could be two perfectly great people that probably should be together, and those little miscommunications could destroy the whole thing. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, is effective communication trumps most things. Because that's like, we talked about the sex thing, we talked about, peace of mind and all these other things. If I can talk to you about how I feel, it's a tough thing to do, but if I can do that and you can do that back, and I honor what you say, then we can conquer anything. I've learned this over time, that once I took that armor off and I relaxed in it and I knew I was safe, then the relationship starts to grow more. So I'll land my plane there.
Awesome. There are two things I wrote down on this paper I wanted to address really quickly. Tony Massey said that once you get the role, that you need to expound upon it. I just wanted to bring to your attention that Aunt Viv was great, but she got replaced by a light-skinned Aunt Viv, and so did Harriet. I'm just saying, you can always be replaced. And also, Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce, so there's still no guarantee that you will never be cheated on. All right, next up, John Singletary. What is your number between 1 and 52?
I'm gonna go with 7.
7. Why 7, John?
That's my favorite number.
7 is your favorite number. Lucky number 7. It says, how do you think others describe you? How do you describe How do you describe yourself?
How do others describe me? The host of this show calls me Silent Singletary.
You have thwarted that view. You have been very vocal tonight. I appreciate it wholly.
I think a lot of people would say that I am crazy. That's common, crazy. A hot mess. I get that a lot. I'm humorous, pretty consistent. I'm solid. What do I think of myself? Lots of thoughts, but really just what would I say? I would say evolving. There's a version of me that I could see when I was younger, like before I was a man, that version of yourself that you could see. And then there came the time, life, tribulations, just the things you go through, and you stop seeing that version of yourself. And I think I've slowly started to transition back into seeing the possibilities of who I could become. So definitely evolving. Strong on the evolving.
heavy on the evolving.
Heavy on the evolving.
As we all are. That's a great answer, John. I appreciate that. T. Watts, tell me, Tanya, what number do you choose between 1 and 52?
Tony, did she just call me Tanya?
She did.
She did.
I just want to make sure I heard that.
Oh my God.
I know why she did, but she did.
Lucky I love you, sis. Lucky I love you. Let's go with the Jesus number, 33.
33. Jesus got baptized at the tender age of 33. Look at the Christian in the building. I should have gave you Jiggy, Tony. Number 33 says, hello, Black man. Discuss financial goals. Describe your idea of financial stability.
That's an interesting question. Financial stability is having the ability to not worry about your bills and not worry about if you want to fly somewhere or not being filthy rich. Just financial stability is being able to breathe without worrying about what's coming next.
And what is your idea? What was the other part of that question? It says describe your, okay. So that kind of describes your idea of financial stability. So I'll let you go with it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you.
No problem. All right, Massey.
Tanya will land her plane now.
Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate it. T. Massey, what you got? What number?
I ain't gonna lie, I was gonna choose 33 because Jesus also got crucified at 33, and I feel his pain right about now. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I'm gonna see what the last question is. Let me get number 52.
That's the last question in the journal.
I figured by that time you got lazy and just just wrote it.
I never get lazy. Remember that. Describe in detail what happy looks like and feels like to you.
Damn. Why you say that question for 52? This is a great question because I learned so I was in the military and I went through a couple of combat engagements and I suffered from PTSD. So much so that at one point I was in a very deep depression, and my uncle helped me out of that depression along with therapy. I've gone through a lot of therapy, but he helped me out of that depression by helping me to define happy. And what he said to me was, happy is not a state of being. It's a moment, right? And the beauty of happy is if you're happy in a moment, you have to fully embrace the moment that you're happy, not so much, not just so that you can fully enjoy it, but you may need to access it when you're not happy, right? And so in that, it's a choice. You're choosing to either access, take it full advantage of a happy moment, access a happy moment that could, transform the moment that you're in mentally and spiritually and emotionally. But ultimately, it's a choice. And you have to choose to be happy. Now, what does that look like? To me, the first and foremost, it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Are my needs being met? And I have to look at me first to make sure that I'm meeting my needs. I can't depend on anyone else. And then beyond that, with my partner, are my emotional needs being met? Am I verbalizing what those emotional needs are? Because I think a lot of people sink into unhappiness, not because they are with someone who can't meet their needs, but because they're with someone who doesn't know what those needs are. I don't think that happiness is, again, I don't think it's a constant state of being. I think it's a choice. You are going to feel moments of sadness. You are going to feel moments of depression, of anxiety. We have the ability to feel a litany of emotions. The choice is, do I stay in this? Because here's the thing that I believe more than anything in the world, and it's been proven to me over and over and over again. All things are working for my good. All things. Every single thing that I go through, God has never forsaken me. He has never dropped me off. He has never forgotten me. I have been, I have not been the friend to God that God has been to me, because I have forgotten him in my moments of victory, but he has never forgotten me in my moments of sadness and defeat. And so when I take a step back and I look at what I'm going through in this moment, and I just embrace that this is working for my good, at some point, God shows me how that storm was the catalyst for the sunshine that I'm enjoying in the moment. And when you develop that mindset that your valleys are good as well as your, peaks, then it's easier to walk through life feeling happy, because you know that happiness is, around the corner, or I had the opportunity to experience it. So I just tap into those moments and I think myself happy, right? I think myself into a joyful state. I accept that God is still working. He's still on the throne. He still loves me. He still favors me. I'm a highly favored individual, and favor ain't fair. So just wait. I know it looks like I'm down right now, but just wait till I get through this and to whatever it is that I'm looking for. And that has made me a generally more happy person. I still suffer from PTSD. I still have moments of sadness, but I have been blessed beyond measure. I mean, just the brothers that are on this stage, and my man Rick is that brother. If you can be unhappy around Rick, then you need help. But to be blessed with someone like that in your life, who has no agenda, who expects nothing in return, and who is relentless in his pursuit of your happiness, to have friends like that, to have people who will check on you and call you out and hold you accountable because they love you, they generally have a passion for you, that how can you be unhappy knowing that you're in that situation? And so, I know that was a very long answer to probably a short question, but I know who I am. More importantly, I know whose I am. And because of that, even in my darkest moments, I can find the light of joy. And that's what happiness is to me.
That was a phenomenal answer. I can't wait till you get your journal and fill it out. I gotta get it in the mail. And Intentional. It's a song by Travis Green. I don't know if you ever heard it, but it says all things are working for my good because he's intentional. I absolutely love it. Check it out if you have not heard it. So last thing on the agenda. First, this is a quick nod as well. Women proposing to men, agree or disagree? Shake your head. What you got? Women proposing to men, yes or no?
I'm like John. I'm in the middle. Like at this point, it's like saying, a kid can't play with dogs. Like, if this is how
everybody is ego. Oh no, it's gender neutral.
If this is how you guys get down, and he, he's gonna step. He wants to be proposed to. Then
everybody is gender neutral. So we talk about women proposing to men. And in the words of Thanos, as long as there are those who remember what was, there will always be those who cannot accept what can be.
Woo!
So last thing on the agenda, seriously, guys.
No, hell no. You are not gonna quote a Marvel character. And act like you just dropped knowledge on us. No.
Didn't Thanos kill half the population or something?
Exactly.
As long as there are those who remember what was, nobody can accept what can be. Okay. So, anyways, next thing, I asked you guys at the beginning of the show to write down those 3 things and tell me your number 1 and why as quickly as you possibly can. And we'll start with you, Massey, because you are long-winded.
I am verbose. I am not long-winded.
You are the
number 1 for me is mental health and wellness, because I believe if the mind is right, then all will follow.
That is a very mature answer. Watts, what you got?
Well, the Tonys agree because that you have to have a strong mental capacity. So
I want to see y'all's paper because I don't want y'all to go over here and say something and then you lying. You know, not saying I don't trust y'all, but
trust us. Like we in 2 different spaces.
All right, I see you. Okay, Tony, if you didn't write down your number, say you didn't write down your number. Look at John with the technology. Tony, if you didn't write down your answer, I'm cool with it. Go ahead. You would agree with Tony Massey.
Yeah, I agree. That should be the number 1 thing, your mental health. Like, if that's it.
Okay.
We good?
All right. Yeah, we good. Singletary, tell us why you chose what you chose.
Mental health and wellness is a landslide. I mean, that's where it all starts. You can work tirelessly to get the other 2 going, but it'll all fall apart if your mental health and wellness aren't together. So.
Jones?
Ditto. Nah, and mental health is absolutely, especially on this end, on this side of my life. My answer might have been different at 18, but going through some things and dealing with some real stress, I'm gonna need that to be regulated before I can even think about all the other stuff. I'm sorry, like the life stuff sets in. You really realize how important it is to have peace in your with your mental health and just being able to move around and do stuff, man. You can't make money with that when your brain and how you think is kind of, you know, altered because of whatever's going on. You can't do any of that stuff. So yeah.
I have such a newfound respect for each and every one of you guys because I have learned so much about you individually. I even kind of like Tony now. Like he was not the normal Tony. Okay, Massey. Tony Massey. I'm changing your name to Massive Ego instead of Messy Massey.
What the heck?
Wait, that's supposed to be
different.
That's not
wow, that's crazy.
I want to trade mine with somebody because David, come on, man.
I still thank you.
Listen, on one of the episodes, he said he had a book about ego. He talks about ego. So I thought I would give him a compliment. Y'all need to stop all this hating. I gave him a compliment. No, I didn't. But for real, I have thoroughly enjoyed each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all so much for your time, for your energy, for your input, for your wisdom, for your knowledge. It has been a great show. I hope that I can individually bring you all back to talk about something different, something more personal. If y'all have time, if y'all don't, I understand that too, because I know you are all very busy, but make sure you follow each of these individuals one more time. Each of y'all tell them how they can find you, where to follow you, and what you have going on. And we'll start with you, Tony Watts.
Well, just go down to realshoptalk.net, realshoptalk.net. You will find me there. You'll find all of us there, and all of our links. And I'm sorry if I'm speaking for the team. This Saturday, I have a show with Jen Garcia. She's a firecracker of an actress, writer, director. I think I've gotten myself into deeper waters than I really want to deal with, but you know, I run with John now, so I'm not afraid of anything. And then on Sunday, I'm going to have a show that duplicates what we just did last Sunday when I spoke to 5 women about what men are doing wrong. This Sunday would be some men talking about what women are doing wrong. So we can have a conversation and find out, you know, the nuances of how we can start fixing relationships.
Massey, you can go.
So you can find me at Tony Massey.
Just one more thing, and please go to Triumphant TV and check out my interview with the host and her lovely her lovely significant other. I told you I'm not like to get away with that one, right?
I didn't say it, so I don't care. Go,
So you got a whole man in these streets. I'm gonna have to holler at him.
I have a man, and he
Yeah,
is
him and I gonna have to talk. I feel like on the 5 heartbeats. Eddie, you ain't got your woman in check.
I got a man, and I think I'm gonna forever, and forever we'll be together, no matter what.
Apparently, he doing his job because you just confident. You can find me of course, realshoptalk.net is where I want you to look for me, because that's where I feel you'll find the most of me. Tony Massey Cooks, Tony Massey Speaks, and then of course my latest venture, Tony Massey Shoots, where I'm dabbling in photography. Again, just trying to find all forms of expression. So you can find me on any of those platforms.
Singletary.
Like everybody else, obviously, realshoptalk.net. You can find everything involving me at and you got to write helpmyselfpodcast.com. So you can go there and it'll take you to all my socials. You can purchase my book, shameless plug, and you can do all of that there. So
plug it.
helpmyselfpodcast.com. It'll take you to all the episodes of the podcast, and everything that I got going on is contained right there at that landing spot. But realshoptalk.net will take you there if you can't remember the helpmyselfpodcast.com.
Derek Jones, Derek Jones.
Realshoptalk.net. Just go there, man. Instagram, make sure you follow me on Instagram. My pop-up lives are legendary. Y'all need to come check those things out. Trying to do more of them now. But yeah, go there and everything springboards from there. Go to relationshipgumbo.info, the website, if you just want a shortcut to branch off to everything. The YouTube, the actual audio podcast, all of that stuff is linked there. So it's a lot of good stuff there. I think I got like 112 episodes for you to binge or pick out what you want. Tomorrow, like I said, I am live streaming a pre-recorded video of the haunted house show that I did that everybody's talking about. So if you haven't seen it, that's the way for it to pop up so you don't have to hunt for it. So that's coming up tomorrow. So that's all I got.
I'm excited about that. Tony Watts, last thing, you were judging Instagrams last night on y'all show. Tell me when you go to my Instagram, what you was thinking about my Instagram.
I was not judging Instagrams.
Lies.
I was not judging Instagrams. I'm going to publicly apologize. It was not a judgment at all. So I just want to make that clear. And your Instagram is as it should be, especially based on the conversation we had last night about your 14-year-old.
You ain't saying nothing. You have nothing. My Instagram is what it should be. What should it be?
How you designed it?
Okay, we'll talk about it offline.
He done went through media training now.
Y'all have some PR with it.
I am
He got a PR.
Your Instagram is as it should be.
I'm so tickled right now. As it should be, whatever that means. Thank y'all so much. I've had so much fun. I'm going to end this live. Y'all have an amazing night. If y'all want to hang on for a second, we'll do a recap. Oh my God.